Eric Chagala, Design Academy, commonly known as VIDA, in the Vista Unified School District in San Diego. VIDA utilizes the design thinking process for successful school transformation and integrates design thinking into the school at multiple entry points. Eric has been with Vista Unified School District since the year 2000, and during that time has served as a history teacher, assistant principal, and now a principal. Eric deeply believes that schools have souls which need to be nurtured, and that our actions say what we believe about kids. During his discussion today, he will speak about how relationships impact creativity and innovation and what that looks like in his environment. He will also address how to create and nurture a culture that motivates all stakeholders, including students, teachers, administration, and staff, to move forward, innovate, and take risks. Join me in welcoming Dr. Eric Chagala.
Hi! How you guys doing? That sucked. How you guys doing? Yeah, I'm the last speaker. 10 minutes till freedom. So I'm super excited to be here. I've been tasked with talking about creativity and relationships, and the relationships needed in order to foster creativity within schools. And the first thing that I'm going to tell you is that we need to have a declaration of war on many things that are going on in public education. Mainly, buzzwords. Have you ever heard a buzzword in public education? Well, what does that have to do with creativity and relationships? Because relationships matter. I mean, I'm wearing flamingo shoes. I love people. I'm soft. I like empathy. The buzzwords that we need to talk about are these. And I've had the opportunity, we've had visitors come to our school. We're hosting about 4 tours a week, and they're coming from as far away as Santiago, Chile, New Mexico, throughout California. Some people from Colorado have shown up. And so I've had a chance to talk to a lot of different teachers and a lot of principals and even some district folk about different things. I've had opportunities within our own district to talk to people who sound like they know what they're talking about because they throw around certain words, and then you look at what they're actually doing. You're like, I would never send my child to be taught by you or to sit in your school. But they're using the right words. And so what I want to go through today is how we help build relationships to get to true creativity is we have to go to war with a lot of these things that are said. And we've talked about them today. Like these words, I don't think there's one up here that hasn't been used. And we all know there's a lot more buzzwords out there. But we have to get to genuinity of what trust, innovation, leadership, and risk, what these really mean and how we deal with them and what it looks like when you're actually boots on the ground. So, the antidote to buzzwords is being genuine, being vulnerable, and also to say what we mean and to do what we say. If you've ever heard, anyone like TED Talks in here? Ah, you must be educators. We love TED Talks. There's this really great one. You've probably heard it because I think it's the most downloaded TED Talk going right now. But Brene Brown, she's a sociologist, social worker, someone. She's a professor from a super important university like these guys went to. But she's done a lot of work around this idea of vulnerability. And for me, that's been really transformative when trying to put into context relationships with parents, kids squared, and teachers, the relationships that go into our schools. And the reason why this all matters is because the difference in genuinity and being vulnerable and building creativity and allowing that to take place in schools is the difference between creating an environment where people say, I'm going to work, and what I do at work is I lay bricks. And someone who says, I'm going to work and I'm building a cathedral. Because our children we're super protective of our kids. 90% of our kids are free and reduced lunch. 1/3 of them are homeless. Majority of them their parents don't speak English at home, so the only time they ever hear English is when they're at school. So we're super protective about the idea that we have a cathedral for kids to come to. But without being genuine from everybody involved, and without the ability to be creative, we know that we will just simply be bricklayers, and our kids deserve more. There are people who have come and they said, hey, our demographics don't look anything like yours. Like you and your team, you had a moral imperative for change and redesigning the paradigm of education. Our kids, they score well. Like, what do you think I should go back and say our moral imperative is? And I look at them and say, well, your moral imperative is that your kids score well on tests, but they're probably bored to death in what they're doing in school every day. Like, are you really creating the thinkers and the creative future geniuses that we want? Because I'm a parent and I know what I want for my kids, and it's not about the standardized tests. So this is called the TRIP model. I was talking to a group of grad students last week, and they said, are you sure it's not the STRIP model? I said, well, you're in graduate school. That means you're smart. All right. So this is the TRIP model. I did not come up with this, but I saw a speaker, Dove Seidman, and I love this because it put in context and a structure things that I think many of us feel and know, but didn't really have a way of talking about it. So to start, everyone in a school is a leader. Titles are lame. The principal of a school, the superintendent of a district are no more important than the first-year teacher in a school, or the poorest kid in the school, or the most disenfranchised parent sending their kids to a school. We believe, and what we tried to do at our school is to help flatten our hierarchy. We're going through and we're reiterating what our beliefs on grades and homework are. And we open up to the entire group of teachers on campus. Who wants to come? Who wants to be a part of this? We have, for our steering committee, for our school, our co-chair is a teacher. Things that I've had to work on is I've had to eliminate me, my, and mine from the vocabulary that I use. Unless I'm saying, the fault is mine, please forgive me, and I forget what the other cute one off the top of my head is, but I'll email it to you. Just kidding. So flattening the hierarchy of schools and the organizations, I think is really important to help get to everywhere else that we're going. Because I talked to a lot of principals when they've come through and visit our school, have said, hey, we're having a hard time with teachers believing that it's okay to take risks. We tell them, take risks for kids. Go, change your pedagogy. Try project-based learning or challenge-based learning. Do something new. Take a risk. And I ask them, well, why are you having a hard time with that? I say, well, I don't know, but they won't do it. I say, well, do they trust you? Well, we talk about trust all the time. Trust is a core value of not only our school, but the school district. Yeah, I know. It's a really popular word. And I feel dumb when I say this and we talk about designing cultures of innovation, but trust is really important. And we say it, but I'm not sure everybody really gets it. And trust isn't about being right all the time, because I'm wrong a lot. We have two teachers here, and one more than another will tell you, yes, he is wrong a lot. And as soon as the other one gets tenure, she will tell you, yes, he is wrong a lot. One of the biggest things talking with principals, and that principals have even said, hey, when we get back from this little tour of your school, and we go back to the library and we talk and we have these district people here, can you say XYZ? Because I can't say it, but you can. And so one of the biggest things that's getting in the way of a lot of people is the whole teacher evaluation and observation process. And I don't know what yours looks like, but it's good. Oh, good. Oh, that's one of the most difficult things that principals are dealing with, because because principals have to meet certain standards, and those standards are based on what are you sending to the district office about your teachers, and wouldn't it just be better if we could just have test and reflect and iterations about our practices and real conversations versus treating it like, oh my God, what are they going to say about me? And then vulnerability. We talked about this a little bit. We'll go more in depth. If you come to any of the sessions I have a chance to do, we'll talk about being vulnerable. Bring tissues. I'll cry. I'll need your support. But vulnerability is super big, and it's super deep, and it's super wide, because it's about the teacher in a classroom being able to be vulnerable to actually try something. It's vulnerability where a teacher is able to call a principal on a Saturday morning and say, hey, you're kind of being an ass, and we all know it, and we thought you should know. Vulnerability then reciprocally is not saying you're off the team and shutting it down, but it's listening and calling a staff meeting the next Monday and saying, I've been an ass, and this is what we're going to do going forward. Vulnerability is deep, and if we aren't willing to open ourselves to it, if you're a principal or if you're in the district office, if you are not willing to be vulnerable, to be empathetic, to really listen to what's going on, to say, I'm sorry, fault is mine, then we're going to have a huge issue ever getting to true innovation. And without true, real innovation, not just the buzzword, we're going to fail to get to progress. And so the big thing, the font was perfect in my hotel yesterday, I swear. But the big thing I want to leave you with is we're on this windy road, and it's not a straight road by any means as you go towards innovation and progress for students, is that we all have to be the map makers. We all have to be in it together to create the direction for which we're going. It can't be a mandate, and it can't be one person saying, you're going to do this because I read a book or because the latest educational research says blah, 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 blah. We have to all be map makers, and then on that journey, we have to travel along it, and we have to be companions with the kids and with the parents and understanding what it actually means to be moving forward towards a new education for kids, a new hope. Because I know your kids deserve it, but I know our kids super duper deserve it. Because if we don't come through on it at our school, they're never going to leave their neighborhood. And they're never going to get out of the cycle of poverty for which we found them. That's it.